Good evening and welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories. I am Star Smart. Let's begin. La Republic du Cameroon has killed the economy of Southern Cameroon, polluted the culture of the people of Southern Cameroon, destroyed the educational sector, and paralyzed many other sectors. But what they have been unable to do is kill the Ambazonian spirit, self-reliance, and determination are the qualities embedded in Ambazonia. The quest for autonomy from La Republique du Cameroon, imperialism is a genuine claim not only for Southern Cameroons to her initial status, but equally for Ambazonians to better put to use their potentials, and we have seen this in time again. It is a new year, and tonight, amongst many other interesting reports, we'll get to see how the peoples of South Amazonia are starting the year making positive impact. With no further ado, we'll usher in the news with the prime headlines.
And these are the prime headlines for today. We'll start with the story of Awing Village as it rehabilitates all village roads. Also today we are going to be revisiting the imbroglio in the SDF. La Republique de Cameroon has won #1 World Corruption Trophy twice. We will take you down memory lane, January 1st, 1960, a message of J.N. Fonter, Premier of Southern Cameroon, to the people of La Republique de Cameroon on Independence Day. And also today, we have this report that says Biden must first bear to the negotiations table. Now let's get the news in detail.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from the untold stories, Africa's best.
here, it can follow.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing into the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way around.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambatv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team. The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such the privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with Undaunted ABC Amba News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, much more is required to stop the genocide. The carnage in Amazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in years and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amba TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with Undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, the media work by taking ABC Amba TV into every multimedia platform.
In a world where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Amazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Amazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? Just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
All right, so it's a great year already. Welcome to the year 2023. Self-reliance and determinations are the qualities embedded in Ambazonians. The quest for autonomy from La Republic to Cameroon imperialism is a genuine claim not only to restore Southern Cameroonians to her initial status, but equally for Ambazonians to better put to use their potentials. La Republic de Cameroon has killed the economy of Southern Cameroons, polluted the culture of the people of Southern Cameroons, destroyed the educational sector, and paralyzed many other sectors. But what they have not been unable to do is to kill the Ambazonian spirit. The new year is still fresh, and so I can still say Happy New Year again. Hope you had a fabulous festive season. How are you doing, Star?
Very well, Winnie. Happy New Year, fellow Ambazonians. It is the spirit in Ambazonians inspiring and encouraging the sons and daughters of our wing to make living better for themselves, despite all attempts of the colonial La Republic du Cameroon authorities to make things hard for them. When people come together, what on earth can limit them? While various roads in a wing village are presently experiencing rehabilitation as they promised last year, thanks to their Self-Reliance Development Association, baptized NACDA. NACDA NACDA, Ndong Awing Cultural Development Association, created in 1962, has been the main driving force in the community of Awing, and sons and daughters of the village unanimously contribute for the betterment of their community through it.
For the past years, focus has been on providing water and good roads to the village due to its healing nature. And all this has been going on smoothly thanks to the unity that reigns amongst the people of Awing. Now, the various roads and the village presently in good condition, and work is gradually going on, and hopefully all the roads will be touched. The president of the association, Christian Tanyi, salutes villagers for being development welcomers. Where there is a road, there is development. Reasons why the president of the NACDA asked Awing people in their last annual general meeting not to get angry if their land is used during the process.
Villagers and especially youths have been called to register in the Self-Reliance Development Association, participate in village projects in order to boost good life in their native land. Such development will ease economic activities like trading, farming in the community. This initiative is coming at a time when the colonial La Republic du Cameroon's government has abandoned the construction and rehabilitation of farms to market roads in the entire Ambazonia.
All right, and moving on. Initially founded to fight the Anglophone curse, the party chairman John Furundi has been accused of auctioning the manifesto to reach Bamileke businessmen in exchange for wealth at the detriment of a suffering people subjugated by Francophones. The resignation of the party's national treasurer is even belated as many had long banged the doors. In the 1990s, many suffering Anglophones saw Frundi as the messiah to deliver his people out of bondage as he forcefully challenged the status quo. But behold, Frundi was easily bought over by La Republic de Cameroon to the total disappointment of bona fide Amazonians.
Well, today, the money minded Furundi is not ashamed to ask Amazonian liberation fighters to drop their guns even without a ceasefire. How money corrupts. Joseph Atekwana makes known to Undaunted that the SDF, since its creation, has been a real failure for its members publicly and personally, and that no one would have achieved anything in the party. Quote, all the people, to my knowledge, who have served you and the party sincerely have not succeeded in their public or private lives. None of those who founded the party and those who sacrificed their lives for it are recalled, nor even their suffering relatives have been taken care of. The former national treasurer had these lamentations.
Well, according to the later, the SDF would only have one piece of land offered by a member whose family the party abandoned, except that of Olandezois Yaoundé, seated on a gold platter by the late Mbanga James. And sadly, his widow and his left behind children never had any support from the party yet. Now, Undaunted gathered that the noisy departure of Joseph Atakwana does not hide his uncomfortable situation within the party. The national treasurer would be audited. His departure is seen by some as a headlong rush. While the SDF is undermined by serious internal crisis, some leaders of the political formation are accused of collaboration with the regime of Paul Biya.
Well, suitcases of money have transited between the leader of the party and CPDM government until some critics now see the party as just the other version of the CPDM. After feeding fat, Frujon Ndi has now announced his retirement as party chairman at the forthcoming party convention and equally asking Amazonian liberation fighters to drop their guns even without a ceasefire. Is this not witchcraft? Well, Furundi's greediness and his inordinate desire for wealth has made the erstwhile vibrant political party to lose not only steam, but militants. Today, the Social Democratic Front, the SDF, is a mere shadow of itself, neither in La Republic du Cameroon nor in Amazonia.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless. The voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
All right, moving on. Let's take the story, the contradictions of a dictator Paul Biya. Now, the colonial La Republic de Cameroon dictator Paul Biya, who had once denied that there was corruption in his country, is tasking those accusing his people of corruption to get ready for the anti-graft crackdown as it will intensify. Well, the tyrant forgot that as soon as he entered office, he ushered in corruption, but the 1990s, when SDF parliamentarians saw a bill for filling down a single tree by a colonial government minister, PNT, Monchipo, at about 10 million francs CFA. Now they raised an alarm. The dictator still asked for proof and allowed his ministers et al. To pilfer and empty state coffers.
Well, today that state coffers are really empty. The tyrant promises to crack down on corruption. Quote, I also want to reiterate that those who were illicitly amassing wealth by plundering the state at whatever level will be brought to book. He said with a contradiction. The dictator added that last year I talked about the need to strengthen governance in the management of public affairs and to control government spending. Rest assured that this concern is constant and unwavering.
Well, in November, the country's Anti-Corruption Commission said about 44 billion That's about 72 million US dollars was lost to corruption in 2021. La Republic de Cameroon has arrested several top-ranking government officials since Biya launched an anti-graft campaign called Operation XP Sparrowhawk in 2004. In fact, his entire government, with a prime minister, is in prison, including directors, because of laissez-faire accountability and lack of transparency.
Moving on with our stories for tonight, a message of J. and John Foncha, Premier of Southern Cameroon, to the people of La Republic du Cameroon on Independence Day. I wish to say how happy we of the Southern Cameroons are. We look forward to seeing you enter courageously amongst the sovereign nations of the world. In this happy venture, we wish you God's guidance, Premier Foncha. Mr. President of the Republic of Cameroon, honorable ambassadors and ministers, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the people of the Southern Cameroons, my delegation and myself take this opportunity to congratulate the peoples of Eastern Cameroon for their well-earned independence. It gives me the greatest pleasure to be here in Yaoundé, he says, to take part in the celebration of this historic occasion. This happy day has not come as a surprise. It is the result of hard struggle. Congratulations to the architect of this resounding victory and masses of the populations who have in their various ways contributed to the success.
Well, he goes on to say the people of La Republic de Cameroon, like other nations of the world, are freedom-loving. Our forefathers received the European traders kindly for the purpose of exchange of goods, but did not hesitate to resist when they started to colonize the territory. In vain, they fought the Germans, not knowing the terrific night that supported them. Resistance was quailed down by treaties which enabled them to secure the goodwill of the coastal chiefs as a springboard to penetrate into the interior, where they still meet a greater resistance. When vanquished, our people still hoped for freedom through collaboration and coexistence. Though not fault of ours, we were destined to pass through the tutelage of many masters as a result of world wars which had nothing to do with us. The La Republic de Cameroon, a German creation, was unfortunate to become a booty of two conquerors who, without regards to human feelings and ethical affinities, shared in between them and created an artificial boundaries.
Now, the people on both sides have been unable to see any reasons for this separation. 41 years of separation has made very little change in their outlook as a nation, and by determination, the artificial boundary is about to be removed. But thanks to the League of Nations and the United Nations for their foresightedness to independence, instead of the outright annexation, the territories were given in trust. He goes on to say, I appreciate the efforts of the distinguished members of the United Nations and their governments who have watched the progress of Eastern Cameroon and seen to it that independence was not delayed any longer than it was due. I wish to say how appreciative we are for their acceptance to be present at the celebration of the Independence Day of today.
All right, he continues to say, thanks to France and the good French men and women who, recognizing their sacred trust to Eastern Cameroon, have carried out sensitive development as a means of achieving the objective of the trusteeship agreement. The achievement made within the space of 41 years is one everybody should admire. Most in particular, he says, I want to congratulate France as the administering authority for accepting independence when it was due and for assisting to have it effective today. He says, I hope having led the territory to independence, she will play the role towards its international relations.
He says, today we of the Southern Cameroon see the beginning of the unity of our great country in the independence of the Eastern Cameroon. We have always believed that the shortest course to unity of the two sectors is through independence. I have all along been immensely impressed with the unanimity of the demands for the independence and reunification in Eastern Cameroon, a unanimity which obliged even the UN to rule out the need for a plebiscite to ascertain the wishes of the people. Encouraged by the patriotic spirit, I would like to assure you that we on the other sector of the Cameroon are working hard to make possible the coming into being of this great country of La République du Cameroon.
All right, JN Foncha goes on to say, now free, we have given you the option to forge ahead with international negotiations for diplomatic relations. We, however, knowing what we are looking for, would advise that we be consulted in any such international relations with the free countries of the world. Fellow citizens of Eastern Cameroon, independence brings with it vast responsibility, which must be borne by everybody. The first responsibility is the maintenance of peace and order. Peace is the key to progress, and I strongly hope all will endeavor to cooperate in order to make it possible.
Reading on, he says, this done, your energy can be concentrated in tilling this fertile land and producing the wealth so much needed in advancing the social well-being of our people. This is the sure way to build the nation. It is better to correct from within rather than from without. Cooperation gives you the chance to say what you have in mind. You are as important in the building up of a prosperous Cameroon as any other person. To do this, you should say you want if you are able to. Now, democracy is the rule of the people by the people themselves under the law enacted by themselves. Its principal method of procedure is by freedom of speech to enlist the sympathy of the majority towards an opinion.
Well, conclusively, he says it is the majority that decides for come forth, and if you have an opinion for the betterment of the people, appeal to them and weigh the strength of its popularity. Once more, I wish to say how happy we of the Southern Cameroons are to know that this sector is free. The eyes of the people of the whole world are focused on Eastern Cameroon. The bonds of imperialism have been thrown away today. We look forward to seeing you enter courageously among the sovereign nations of the world in this happy venture. We wish you God's guidance.
And him concluding this address, he says, long live the Republic of Eastern Cameroon, long live United Cameroon. Source a speech by Honorable J.N. Fonche, Premier of Southern Cameroon, on the occasion of the independence celebration of the Cameroon Republic. We'll move on with the news.
All right, let's see. Well, Biden must first be to the negotiations table. A Francophone journalist on exile, J. Remy Ngono, has revealed that Ambazonia, being an El Dorado in the Gulf of Guinea, attracts more American interest now more than ever. That with more minerals discovered in the northern zone of Ambazonia, America must force La République du Cameroun to dialogue, because Ambazonia, like most West African countries, are turning to the Kremlin, so America will not be the loser.
Now, J. Remy Ngono castigates French Cameroon for distorting history by bridging every iota of union, as La République du Cameroun had its in the 1st January 1960, while Southern Cameroon had its independence on 1st October 1961. La République du Cameroun colonial leaders, as it is no longer a secret, have prostituted with the name of the country from the Federal Republic of Cameroon to the United Republic of Cameroon back to the La République du Cameroun. Their name gotten after their independence in 1961, J. Remy Ngono makes it abundantly clear that La République du Cameroun and Ambazonia are two distinct countries.
J. Remy Ngono tells La République du Cameroun point blank that Ambazonia is not a terrorist, as some attribute terrorism to the Ambazonian struggle. That reason why the American government gave Cameroonians residents in the USA a special treat reserved for refugees. The 18 months work permit renewable. J. Remy Ngono announces that most Ambazonian prisoners will be liberated between now and March 2023.
Well, J. Remy Ngono discloses also that Nkonda Titus, also known as Ma Country People, Atanganji, Felix Mbayu, Bamkwi Emily, Ngongo are those who have been feeding fat in the War of Independence. They have created networks working on Facebook and other social media for spying and giving fake news of how La Republic du Cameroon is winning.
Well, they have equally created their militia to infiltrate genuine fighters and cause havoc in a bid to weaken the struggle. That Ngonda Titus had been placed on a monthly allowance of 15 million francs CFA, which was raised to 27 million francs per month, which they share for, doing the nasty job. Ngonda Titus, Atanganji, Felix Mbayu, Bamkwe Emil, Ngongo, and many others he maintained are the ones responsible for the numerous killings and every atrocity being perpetrated at the home front.
Now, at the DDR centers, J. Remy Ngono reveals that Nkonda Titus, also known as Ma Country People, Atanga and G. Felix Mbayu, Bankwi Emily Ngongo, Fai Yengo, and a lot more use an inmate called Oka Clovis, whom they put on a salary of 1.5 million francs CFA, which they equally share. And I'm sure we've brought this report to you before. He uses his newfound wealth to intimidate other inmates to make them believe that all was going on well with fighters who dropped their weapons. Meanwhile, these can't even afford a meal a day.
We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best.
All right, and with that report, we've come to the end of the news tonight on Undaunted. But before we go, we'll give you the recap of our major stories. But then we sincerely apologize for our inability to bring the state of liberation to Mungwa. Now, trust that next week it will definitely come. So do have a date with us next week. Dr. Mungwa will be right here with us.
And these are the recap for today. We talked about a wing indigenes rehabilitate all village roads. We reviewed the imbroglio in the SDF. La Republic du Cameroon had won a #1 World's Corruption Trophy twice.
Also, today we take you down memory lane as we reeled out the January 1st, 1960 message of J.N. Fonter, who was the Premier of Southern Cameroon, so the people of La Republic of Cameroon on Independence Day. And also we told you that Biden must first bear to negotiations table. And that was it for tonight on Undaunted, bringing you the news on George Stories. On behalf of Michael, Uncle here, Star Smart, and the entire Undaunted crew, we say thank you for tuning in.
We'll leave you with ABC Amba TV images. Good night and God bless you.